Hey there, everybody. In today's video, I'm going to take you through the nuts and bolts of Google Places API and Google Directions API. There's a lot of overlap between these two API access points, and it's pretty remarkable what they can do. Google invested, I don't know how many billions, but many billions into these technologies, and it's really paid off. So, what can you actually do with these types of tools? You can search for places, any kind of restaurant, school, museum, convention center, sports facility, right? Anything you can imagine. Place details, address, phone numbers, hours of operation, when do they open, when they close, um, any kind of reviews and ratings like Yelp. This is a pretty cool feature. Any kind of nearby searches, you can look in a specific location and have this give you recommendations for restaurants, for um, what is it, like tourist destinations, things to do, places of interest. That's what I was trying to think of. Place photos. So pretty comprehensive offerings here. And in terms of the Google Directions API, this is equally impressive, right? You can do route calculations, um, multiple routes to one destination. You can take a scenic route. You can take the most direct, most efficient route. Any kind of alternate routes, right? If you want to take um, take a small excursion and go on a side trip as you're going to your destination, you can do that. The time estimation, traffic conditions, waypoints, things to see along the trip, points of interest, and so on and so forth. So it's really pretty cool. I applied for an API. I can't give that out. It's highly confidential and very personal, but you can go ahead and apply for a free API. What's an API key, and Google will give you a key. No charge whatsoever. It's somewhat limited in what you can do with its functionality, but if you have a paid account, you can make many more requests. You have more offerings. With the free account, it's somewhat limited, but you still have a lot of functionality and a lot of really cool things you can do. So I would encourage you to go get the API, apply for it. It takes almost no time, maybe 30 seconds or so. Follow the link here. I'm going to save all this source code and compact it as a HTML file and upload this when I upload the video later today. So you'll have access to all the source code. It is a little bit intimidating, a little bit overwhelming, but don't get put off by that. Everything here is pretty dynamic and pretty generic. All you're gonna have to do is plug in your own API key once you apply for that and get approved for that. That will go right here, and then right here, and then change the type of thing that you are looking for. In this case, I'm looking for restaurants. Okay, that's a type of business. This is a keyword search, pizza, and I'm looking relative to my address. So the only things that are going to change are those search terms. This is my address right here, Long Island City, suburb of New York City, right in the shadow of New York City, just a little bit to the east. And you put in your address, the type of restaurant. I put in pizza, and your API key. Again, I'm not sharing mine, but you would put yours in here, and everything else is very generic, right? You only have to change a couple of parameters that I just described, run it, and you'll get this output right here. So these are all the pizza restaurants close to where I live, right? So I'm looking at this. This is in Brooklyn, super close. I'm in Queens, but Southern Queens. This is Northern Brooklyn. What else? Here's another pizza restaurant, and so on and so forth, right? So pretty cool. Google Places API again. Anything you can imagine, almost any kind of museum, school, restaurant, theater, sports center, whatever you want, right? You just change a couple parameters, your API key, your address goes there, the type of thing you're looking for. In this case, it's a restaurant. I'm looking specifically for pizza restaurants, and then the radius, right? So this is one more parameter that you can change. Everything else is generic and stays the same. So pretty cool what Google offers you. Now, here's an example of a Google direction using the Directions API to make a call to that API endpoint. So we just saw Google Places, Google Directions. I'm sure they have a lot of overlap under the hood. I don't know exactly how much overlap there is, but you can tell when you use these things, there's a lot, right? So it's doing the places for you, printing, doing the queries, printing the results. And in this case, it's giving you the direction to the place that you requested, right? So again, I put in my API key. You use your specific one here. I'm not displaying mine for obvious reasons, right? But you would just pop yours in right there. Again, make a call for this JSON data, JavaScript object notation. It's a very compact, very efficient way of storing data. So that's how Google typically does these things. It's all in JSON data. I have the origin and destination. Again, you would copy and paste your specific details here, and then everything else is very, very generic. You just need this code, you need your API key, where you start, where you end, and that's it, right? You have the origin, destination, API key. These are the only parameters that you would need. And Google does the whole list for you. So you go ahead and run the code, and you get your directions printed out right here. So turn left at the first cross street onto the third cross street onto 50th Avenue. So I'm familiar with these directions. It's a little bit cryptic how they're doing it, but when you use Google Maps, all of this is interpreted for you automatically and instantaneously in the map. So it all works fine. This is a little bit more like primitive way of displaying the data, but that's fine too. We can have our directions. I know what this is doing because I live in this neighborhood and I know the area pretty well. So to make this a little bit more intuitive, you can actually go to Folium Maps and again make the call to Google Directions API and go ahead and plot all of these details on the map right here. You have your origin, your destination, right? Here's the Google string, the JSON string that you would call from the Google API, right? And that's literally it. It's going to go ahead and calculate all those directions for you. It tells you the distance, 7.2 miles, the duration of driving time, 22 minutes, and then it actually plots this on a map for you and on a Folium map. No, this is not Google Maps, right? So it doesn't update as you drive. But nevertheless, it's pretty cool how you can get these directions here. The one thing I really love about these Folium maps are very interactive. You can zoom in, see all kinds of details of the location, right? And I know this is correct. I do this all the time. I know this is accurate. I know it's correct. And it's picking the shortest distance for you too, using haversign distance. Pretty sure. I can't think of any other way that Google will do it. I have a video about haversign distances and how to calculate that yourself. So you can take a look at that. But that's pretty much it. That's Google Places API and Google Directions API. Hopefully you learned a couple new things today. Thanks for your time, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.